person just wants to feel like a normal human being. So addiction is neither a choice nor...
Welcome back to our man bath segments, where we teach men the best thing that they don't have in their life is a good old hot bath. But in all seriousness, I gave a speech on this just 4 days ago about addiction, the other side of addiction, and what is wrong with addiction, not the addict itself. Many people try to say that addiction is a disease. False. Some say it's a breakable will. False. Some say it's 100% genetic. 1 equals 1, and that is false. My speech pointed out that we should look at addiction or addicts as walking suffering, walking trauma. And we need to look at addicts such as children do. When we look at addicts, we put preconceived notions on those people. When children see addicts for the first time, what do they ask their families? Why is that person like that? Why is that person living on the street? We're asking the wrong questions when we come to addiction. Instead of preconceived notions and stigmas and labels on addicts, we need to ask the question, why? Why the addiction? Not what the addiction, how the addiction, why is he an addict? It sounds so simple, but when we become curious, when we ask questions as a child, we get to the root cause instead of putting a Band-Aid over the check engine light. If you don't know, I went through 10 plus years of opiate addiction, and now I've been clean for 8 years on the backside. All right, let's make this simple for you. Everybody knows this picture. Liverpool, Ohio, September 2016. Unconscious guardians for this child driving erratically, pull over, they're unconscious, get charged with DUI and child endangerment. That's what we see from the surface. Let's dig a little bit deeper. These two adults did an unexcusable act that never should have happened, and they should be punished for it. But let's flip the scenario a little bit so that you can see what questions that we need to ask. Again, everything they did is unexcusable. We just need to learn to ask the right questions. Instead of looking at this little kid in the car seat, let's put him there. Let's put him as a child in that car seat with his father and his mother or his guardian right here. Now we start seeing where this is coming from. Now, instead of saying, I can't believe you would do that, you are a terrible person. And yes, they did a terrible thing and they could be terrible people. This is unexcusable. But onto their own devices. We don't know what happened. Was he in the car seat before cameras were a thing? Was his father, his guardian, his mother, did they have addiction in the family? All of this changes no excuses, and responsibilities and consequences need to be followed. But this gives you in the right perspective and state of mind of the questions that we need to ask. Take the Band-Aid off the check engine light, dig deeper, go under the hood, hook up the computer, and figure out why we're chasing that addiction. A lot of addiction comes from trauma. You can put it in a big box of trauma, but it's usually a lack of love. It boils down to a lack of love. Can we find that in somebody's life? They have a big precursor to addiction. Just ask the right questions, because I've been in this position.